Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Photoshop CS6 tutorial. I'm your host, Buddy Blackford, and today I'm going to show you how to use the art history brush, or at least one technique that you can use with the art history brush. Now, the art history brush gives you the ability to create some painted effects using information from snapshots or history states. So what that means is that you can paint on another layer and bring out another type or bring out some of the information of another history state or snapshot. Now this is gonna use the history panel. So let's start out from the beginning and let's just pick an image to open up that possibly doesn't have like a whole lot of detail in it, but has some detail, like maybe a person, just like a headshot or something like that. Okay, now you want to make sure that you have your art history or your history panel open, and that's this panel up here. Remember, this is CS6, so this is where the history panel is going to be. If you can't find it, go up to Window and then go to History and click that, and it'll show up for you. Now what we need to do is make some changes to the document so that we can like start using the art history brush. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new layer, and it's just gonna be a transparent layer, and it's gonna be on top of the background layer. The next thing that we're gonna do, we're just gonna grab the paint bucket. Let's make sure the background is white, and we're just gonna fill in that transparent layer with white. Now you can see that the layer over top is just a white paint bucketed layer, I guess. So we've got in our history panel, we've got our things that we've done. We opened up the picture, we created a new layer, and we have the paint bucket. If I go to new layer, it's going to show me what was on during that step, and then as you can see, the layers panel is changing when I go to a new step in the history. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start working with our art history brush. So come over here to our tools panel and click on this icon. It could be the history brush tool or the art history brush tool, but we want to select the art history brush tool. So make sure you have that selected, and it has like the little swirly thing around the paintbrush. The next thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we have the layer that we want to use selected. And this time I'm going to use the snapshot up here that comes when you have Photoshop. When Photoshop opens, it takes the snapshot. If you don't have a snapshot already, go to your very first history where you have your picture that you opened. So click on Open, and then take a snapshot of that using this, and then use the snapshot as your art history brush reference. So just make sure that this has the brush icon next to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the history brush here, and we're going to start painting. And you can paint by moving your brush around, or you can just click and hold. So what I'm going to do is just going to click and hold, and you can see what's going on here, and you're like, what the heck is that? Now if you have your brush at a small size, then it's going to pick up more detail. If you have it at a bigger size, then it's going to pick up some bigger detail. So by using your left or right bracket on your mouse, or if you right click, you can adjust the size of your brush. Now you probably want to have some kind of brush that's one of the basic brushes. So just a circle with something. So you can see that my brush is it's just probably this brush right here. So what I'm going to do is start drawing again. So you can see what's going on here. Now you can see that there's not a lot of detail in this brush here. It's just a bunch of blobs pretty much. So I'm going to lower my brush size down a little bit and start drawing again. Now it's picking up information from the background. You can see that not a lot again is going on, and we just need to address our brush size down even more. So let's go down to pretty low, like maybe 8 there. And I'm going to start drawing here. And then you can see that we're getting more detail here in our brush. And you can start making out that it's an actual person that's back on here. Now it looks like we're starting to get like a mosaic-y painted effect on our image. So you want to pretty much experiment with this brush and see if you can get some really nice effects. I'm going to go down to the smallest that I can get, which is 1 pixel, and I'm going to start drawing again on here. And we'll see how much detail we start getting. I'm just clicking and holding to paint. Now you can see how much detail is coming out in this. This is a pretty cool brush. You get the most detail out of the smaller brush sizes. So here we go. Now it's starting to look like the original picture that that we had in the beginning. So if I turn this layer off, this is what we had. This is what we have now. So you can mess around with the brush size to get some different effects. Now, not only the brush size creates the effects for you, we've got a whole panel up here at the top that has a bunch of different stuff. So we've got our blending modes, we've got our opacity. This button right here is the pressure for opacity button. Now, if you hold your mouse over top of it, if I'm gonna just hold my mouse over top of it, it'll tell you what it is. Always use pressure for opacity, and that's when you have like a pen tablet. So if you have a tablet while you're using a pen, if you push down more, you get more or less opacity. When you hold it off a little bit, then you get less opacity. Then we've got our style here, and this is one of the bigger effects that define how your image is going to look. So if we come down, we've got a list here. I'll come down to loose curl, and then I'll maybe make my brush size a little bigger, and then you can see here what it's doing. So we've got like a little curl, kind of looks like little Cheetos, I guess. Bring my brush size down even more, and we got this kind of curl going on. We got a tight curl, which is even tighter, as you can see. Hopefully you can see this. You should be able to. I mean, you can definitely tell that it's like a curl. And then something like loose long, where it's just like a loose line that's just long. And then when you use less of an amount, it comes out more, or a smaller brush size, it comes out more in more detail. And you can use these effects to your advantage to make some cool looking things. So that's it for the art history brush. Use it like this. This is just one way to use it. There's probably a whole bunch of other methods that you can use to make this brush cool. Experiment with using different types of brushes like this. So his eyes were all like messed up, his mouth is kind of messed up, so let's bring that in there a little bit. And then you can use like the different styles to make different things in your brush, or different types of looks with your brush. So thanks for watching this tutorial, and give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and be sure to check out buckysroom.org to check out all the other Photoshop tutorials that I've made so far. We're going to put them all on that website, and any other kind of tutorials that we have made are going to also be on that website. So thanks for watching. See you guys in the next tutorial. Have a good one.